The last time a United States Service Academy finished a college football season without a loss or tie was Army in 1949, when they were led by Heisman finalist quarterback Arnold Galiffa. Army finished that season 9-0 and 4th in the Associated Press poll. Those were the days when the academies dominated college football year in and year out. Navy and Army were producing All-Americans and Heisman Trophy winners year in and year out. Every year you hear about Army and Navy, but you rarely hear about the Air Force Academy, the 3rd Division I military academy. Located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, Air Force this year's off to a 7-0 start and ranks number 19 in the AP poll. They are putting together a magical season that I do not think is being talked about enough. But is it sustainable? And is there a chance they can make the college football playoffs? Stay tuned to find out. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to release multiple videos a week this season. Also, let me know who you think will make the college football playoffs in the comments section below. The Air Force Academy began playing college football in 1955, making it a relatively newer program compared to its Army and Navy counterparts. Led by Robert V. Whitlow, they finished 4-4. Buck Shaw found himself little success following Whitlow going 9-8-2 in 2 seasons before the arrival of Ben Martin. Martin played college football at Princeton and Navy before becoming an assistant at Navy in 1949. In 1956, he served as a Virginia head coach, leading them to a 6-13-1 record in 2 seasons. In 1958, he was named the head coach of the Air Force Academy, leading them to a 9-0-2 record. They finished the year as the 6th best team in the nation, with their 2 ties coming against number 8 Iowa in Iowa City and against number 10 TCU in the Cotton Bowl. That would be the most successful Falcons team for the next 20 years, with Martin finishing with a career record at Air Force going 96-103-9. Bill Parcells took over as head coach in 1978, followed by Ken Hatfield in 1979. In 1984, the Falcons hired Fisher Dewberry to be their head coach, and he would take the Falcons to new heights where they would soar into the national stage. Dewberry had been on the staff since 1980 as the quarterback coach and later named the offense coordinator in 1981. He led the Falcons to the 4th best ranking in the nation in 1985 before they lost to BYU 28-21 towards the end of the season. They finished 8th in the polls that year. He won 3 Western Athletic Conference championships in 1985, 1995, and 1998. In 1998, he led the Falcons to a 12-1 record, with their lone loss coming on the road to TCU 35-34. They finished the season ranked number 13 in the nation and beat Washington 43-25 in the Wahoo Bowl. While serving as head coach of the Falcons, Dewberry won the Commanders-in-Chiefs Trophy Series, which is a trophy Navy, Army, and Air Force battle for every year, 14 times and shared it once. He was a combined 34-8 against the Black Knights and Midshipmen, and is the most successful coach in the Service Academy history. Dewberry led the Academy to 12 bowl games in which he had a 6-6 record. He caused controversy towards the end of his career and would retire in 2006 with a record of 169, 107-1. Replacing Dewberry was Troy Calhoun, who was a former Air Force quarterback under Dewberry. After graduating from Air Force in 1988, he served as the grad assistant and recruiting coordinator for the Falcons from 1989 to 1994. He then spent time with Ohio, Wake Forest, the Denver Broncos, and Houston Texans before being named the 7th coach in Air Force football history. Calhoun has won the Commanders-in-Chiefs Trophy 5 times. He has a 20-13 record against Army and Navy and has led Air Force to their first top 25 finish since 1998 and 2019 with an 11-2 record. The past 2 years, he has led the Air Force Academy to a 10-3 record, and if they win 10 games this year, it'll be the first time in school history they win double-digit games 3 straight seasons in a row. They've gone to 12 bowl games under Calhoun with a 7-5 record, but this year could be their best team in school history. Going to the 2023 season, only Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and Michigan had a better winning percentage over the last 3 full seasons, i.e. 2019, 2021, and 2022. Going into this season, things were stacked against the service academies. According to SB Nation's Mark Schofield, in recent years the NCAA altered blocking rules, particularly in the rules regarding blocks below the waist. In a change made last year, blocking below the waist was permitted only inside the tackle box. Once a player leaves the tackle box, blocking below the waist, often referred to as a cut block, was no longer allowed. This rule change has seen teams like Army and other service academies decide to shift away from their under-the-center triple option game. Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army, made such decisions this spring. What made the triple option so lethal was the fact that you could use your smaller offensive linemen to cut the bigger players, and due to the service academy's weight restrictions, with their linemen always being smaller, it created chaos at the line of scrimmage, making it harder for linebackers to make the play. It created carnage to create running lanes. While another rule change helped them, the running clock until the final 2 minutes of each half. Heading into the season, they were replacing their third winningest quarterback in program history and an All-American offensive lineman, a rare feat for the academies. A writer from the Mountain West Connection wrote earlier this year, add to that a season-ending injury to one of the starting cornerbacks and a transfer out by other starting cornerback, and the suspension of one of the best offensive linemen in the Mountain West, it's obvious there are big shoes to fill. Yet, Air Force returned 16 starters on offense and defense. They were playing a workable schedule and were projected to go 8-4 and 9-3 this season. They were expected to have toss-up games against Utah State and San Diego State, while expected to lose to Wyoming and Boise State. They were going to be playing in 5 different time zones as they tried to make school history. Air Force opened up the season with a 42-7 win over Robert Morris, where Zach Lair led the team in passing with 95 yards and rushing with 99 yards. They won a close game against Sam Houston State 13-3 before blowing out Utah State 39-21, San Jose State 45-20, and San Diego State 49-10 before heading into their bye. Wyoming came to town next, sitting at 5-1 with their lone loss coming on the road to Texas. The Falcons rushed for 356 yards and an average of 6.7 yards per carry in a comeback win to beat the Cowboys 34-27. The Falcons then traveled to Annapolis to take on arch-rival Navy in the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. They broke a school record for the longest passing touchdown with a 94-yard score. A late score in garbage time by Navy made it seem closer than it really was, with a final of 17-6. So far this season, the Falcons have shown they have an elite defense, giving up fewer yards per play than Michigan and Iowa, with Penn State and Ohio State being the only teams better than them. Zach Lair has opened up the offense with his passing ability, averaging 18.8 yards per attempt and 5 touchdowns. Their remaining schedule consists of a road game against Colorado State, Army at Empower Field at Mile High where the Denver Broncos play, on the road against Hawaii, against 6-1 UNLV, who's having a magical season themselves, and on the road against Boise State on Black Friday. The schedule is not easy, but they are winnable games. They're in contention for the Group of Five's New Year's Six Bowl bid, which would be the first BCS New Year's Six Bowl in school history, according to The Athletic. While I would love to see them get an opportunity to play in the college football playoffs, it seems extremely unlikely due to their strength of schedule. But how great would it be to see our cadets play for a national title? At the time of recording, they are currently ranked 19th in the AP poll. What makes this team so special is the fact that, unlike other schools, Air Force really can't use the transfer portal. Along with that, Air Force cadets are not eligible for NIL. Even the U.S. Congress passed a law in December that, after this season, will eliminate the opportunity for Service Academy graduates to defer their service requirements and pursue professional sports. The Service Academy coaches have to recruit competitive football players that fit certain weight restrictions and are willing to serve our country after graduating college. They also have stricter academic and physical obligations they need to meet outside of football. Calhoun told ESPN, "That's hard to find, and then you want someone who can make a play in the open field on Saturday too." Earlier this month, Kyle Bonagura from ESPN explained, "The barriers to entry have always been steep. Few high school players enter the recruiting process with a future military career in mind. The dream of an NFL career is exponentially more prevalent, and for many of those kids, the thought of signing with Air Force, Army, or Navy can represent an admission that is unlikely to come true." In 2019, there were laws passed that allowed athletes to defer their service to pursue a professional career, which Calhoun felt made sense. It didn't mean anyone was getting out of their service obligation, only that in some cases it would be delayed. In theory, it allowed the academies to recruit more ambitious future leaders, which, at their core, is what the academies are really all about. Congress reversed that 2019 decision last year, requiring players to serve the country for 2 years before pursuing a professional career. Calhoun told the ESPN, Candidly, I think it is a mistake for our country to reinstitute the 2-year waiting period. If they were going to play in the NFL, it's the rarest of the rare. But if they went for 2 or 3 years, you're still going to serve a good amount of years on active or in the reserves. Why would we deter that? Why would we want someone that's maybe looking at Duke, Stanford, Northwestern, rights in the academies? We want that person. If they have those intangibles, the drive, the unity, the ability to build teamwork, we want them. It's a very interesting controversial rule change that I may or may not be against. I think the players should have the opportunity to compete at the professional level if that opportunity is given, as long as they complete their service obligations after. Whether they are actually playoff contenders or not, I think the Air Force story is an important one to share. They are doing unbelievable things with everything stacked against them and are our future leaders. This is a special team and should be remembered that way, no matter what happens the second half of the season. What do you think? If they go undefeated, should Air Force be put in consideration for the college football playoffs? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.